Hey guys, Ebony here. Welcome back to my channel. I just want to quickly stop in to share with you some traveler's notebooks that I have been putting together. I just started putting these together yesterday, and what I did was, before, what I would do is gather all my papers and then use my long arm stapler, and I will staple them down the middle. But this particular section, well, not section, but this particular group of TNs that I've put together, I sewed the binding. Let's see, hopefully you're able to see that, but I went down this one with my sewing machine, and I love it. What I'm trying to do is get rid of some of the papers that I have. I have lots of paper pads, so this is the way that I am going to use my stash, by putting together some TNs. And I just want to show you the method that I used in order to accomplish that. So let me just walk you through it. A quick little tutorial, I guess you could say. I'm excited about it because I'm not one that normally sews, and I'm finally really just pulling out my sewing machine, trying to get acclimated with it and everything. So again, if you're interested in seeing how I have accomplished this, please continue watching. Okay, so what you'll need is your scoreboard and trimmer, some little clips. I use paper clips. That's just something to hold your papers together. A scoring tool, or your bone folder. I use my scoring tool as my bone folder and things. A ruler, your paper, and of course the cardstock that you're going to use for your cover. And let's go ahead and get started. So what I do first is I trim down my printer paper, which is normally 8.5 by 11. What I normally do with this is I will trim this down to 8 1/4 by 9. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I take a couple of sheets at a time, and I use 10. I found 10 sheets to be good for my particular sewing machine. So again, like I said, we will cut this down to 8 1/4. So just trimming off very little. 8 1/4 by 9. And this will be the inside of your notebook. Set that to the side. And do the second set. I'll do that, then I'll come right back on. Okay, so here's the paper, which is scored at, not scored, which is trimmed down to 8 1/4 by 9. Next, what we'll do is take the cardstock, and we will trim the cardstock down to 8.5 by 8 1/4. So I'll go ahead and do that. And if you have a paper that's patterned and it goes a certain way, you want to be careful with how you do that. You want your design to be on the 8.5 side, so it doesn't be sideways. So again, trim your paper down to 8.5 by 8 1/4. 8 1/4 is the height of your actual book. And then what you want to do is score it. I'm sorry. You want to score it at 4 1/4. On the 8.5 side, you want to score it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to score it. And then that's it for your cutting machine and your scoring. I'll move this out the way. Okay, so now what you want to do is take your cardstock and your paper. So your paper is going to be on the 9-inch side. So going 9 inches. This is your cardstock, that's 8 1/2. And what I do is I just place my paper, let's see if I can get this where you can see it. I place my paper somewhat in the center where I have just a little bit of overage on both sides. And what I do is I take my paper clips and I secure that in place. If you have binder clips, you can use that, but I just use a couple of paper clips. And then what I do is sew straight down the scored line. Now, because my sewing machine does not have a light, what I do is I take a pencil and I go down it very lightly. The thread will be over it, so you won't even see it, but I need that in order to stay in the center. So let me try to set up my sewing machine here so you can see what I do from this point. One moment, please. Guys, I absolutely love this little sewing machine. My hubby bought it for me for Christmas because I was begging him, like, honey, I want to do some paper crafts and I want to sew on it. So this is a starter machine because I do not know how to sew. So he got me this one for Christmas and I'm very happy with it. But again, like I said, what I do is, mine is set on letter D. As you can see, the stitching is just a little bit bigger than A, B, and C. It's a little bit longer. The stitches are a little bit longer. And I just place it in here. I'm not sure if you will be able to see if my hands are in the way or not. But what I do is I roll it down, the needle down into place. Then I drop the foot. And what I do is sew a little bit. Then what's this thing called? I take it back some. I don't know what the terms are because, again, I don't sew. Then I start going forward again, making sure to stay directly in the center. And when I get close to the end, that's what it's called, back stitch. That's what I do. I do back stitch again. Then I bring it back up. Roll this up. Lift the foot. And, oh, I guess I need some scissors too. One moment. Let me grab my scissors. Sorry. Okay. So grab your scissors. And then you just cut it. And it looks something like this. Nicely sewn down the center. Inside looks good. Y'all can't tell me nothing with this. I'm telling y'all, I think I'm on the move. I am on the move. Okay, so what I do next after this is I trim off the extra sides. But in doing so, first, let me move the camera just a little bit closer. Okay, so what I do is I fold it in half first. And as you can see, the little papers, they're going to line up. You want to make sure your threads are directly in the center. That's your score line. Let me just push it down. And then your paper should line up nicely. As you can see, my cardstock is pretty much in the same area, both front and back. Sorry if I was out of frame. And you had just this little bit of overhang left over. And what I do in order to keep the book flat, instead of popping up like this, is I take my score tool and I just run it down the crease on both front and back. And as you can see, it's already flat. It's not popping up or any of that. And then I just take my ruler, I lay it along the edge of where the cardstock is at, and I take my blade and I trim off the excess papers just like this, and I cut all of that off. You take your time or go fast. You know, I'm new at this, so I try to take my time. Keep trimming that off. So you definitely just want to make sure you have everything nicely trimmed. I follow the side of the ruler, go all the way down. And then I end up with this. nicely finished, both front and back. And then with the threads, I just trim those off. Just what I can do now, so they don't be all hanging everywhere. And that is the way, uh-oh, I'm so sorry, I bumped the camera. That is the way I do my TNs. Move that over. So yes, guys, I'm so excited. The threading is nice going down the middle. And then you have a book with 10 pages, or if you count them individually, it'll be a total of 20, or if you count front and back, it'll be a total of 40 pages. So yes, guys, this is what I have been working on, trying to kill off some of these paper pads that I have, and I have been making some TNs. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this little video with a little quick impromptu tutorial. If so, please give the video a thumbs up. Leave comments down below, especially if there's a way that I can do this a little bit easier or quicker. Leave that down below. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. Everyone, have a wonderful day. Bye.